quickly, I see somebody smiling and nodding. Olivia White over here.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, that one.
That one. Well, as some of you know, I know a fair amount about this. I'm the president of the Bread Riot organization here, and so we relate a lot to the local produce farmers. The thing I'm struggling with right now is Steve Troxler has been there for generations, I think. How do you go in when you are elected and deal with all that? Because the Farm Bureau, of course, is a big advocate here, and we know about that. Let me have to tell you a Farm Bureau story. I happened to go to a speech when the Farm Bureau was speaking, and that man got up there and trashed Mona Lisa Wallace for taking on the poultry industry, sitting right here in Rowan County, trashing her. So that's the Farm Bureau.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, but back to my question: how in the world can a new person come in and turn this big machine around?
Great. That is a great question. It's the thing I spend a lot of time thinking about. Right? So here's the thing: we have a lot of people who are very happy with how things are already doing. Again, walking around and telling them you should do it this way, not very effective. What I find more effective is just funding people who are doing different things. So we have folks who are already making a lot of money doing hogs, chicken, pork, grain, and livestock. They already have a rocking business model. They don't need someone to give them more help with business development. They're already doing great. So
and the government supports them really well.
Correct. Yeah. So that is often a state legislature thing that the Commissioner of Agriculture cannot do much about. So our job is to administer certain programs under the Department of Agriculture. We are not the king of all the agriculture, right? We don't get to dictate exactly what happens and what people do with their land. So that is not a thing that we get to do because this is a democracy. It is their property. They get to do what they want to do. What we can do as a Commissioner of Agriculture and as a leader is make opportunities for other ways to do things. Because I think one of the issues in agriculture right now is because you have some of the larger families cooperating with these activists, they are the only way that anybody can sell anything because those are the only route from a rural area to sell stuff in urban communities. So the fact that those people in those institutions have that gatekeeping capacity right now is what gives them so much power. So, I mean, that's great. They can keep doing business the way they want to do it. We're just going to allow other people to do business other ways. And that actually helps quite a bit. I have seen that do really good things in other communities and I'd like to bring that to North Carolina. I hope that answered some of your questions.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we can definitely talk more because there is a lot to say.
Yes, it is.
Anthony in back.
So I would like to think that you're not a lone individual about to go attack this large political block of people that are owned by big business. But who are some already existing networks and coalitions that exist that share your own values and share your own policy ideas?
Sure, yeah. So one of the folks I've been interacting with quite a bit is Darrell Tenney. He's, I think, the one Black crop insurance agent in the United States. He's based in Raleigh. So he puts together a thing every year where a lot of Black farmers get together. Was able to have some really good talks with him before, during, and after that event, just about his network and a lot of things that his colleagues and his clients are looking at and dealing with. So that's a network that is definitely very interested in this here in North Carolina. And there are more Black farmers here than you think. So that is an amazing start. We also have a lot of folks at, like you were saying, the farmers market level. We have a lot of folks who are very small farms. I think there's a lot of business chops in there that are untapped because they're not getting the funding that they would need to do more. And I will also tell you, from having worked in, so I was born and raised Mormon, okay, became a Democrat for the same reasons that everybody else does. And I've also worked in agriculture my whole life. So I've spent a lot of time being the token liberal in very conservative communities. And I will tell you, there are a lot of people in these communities who are not happy with what goes on there. They just don't really know what to do about it. Now, I will tell you, there's more people who are quite happy with it, but there's a lot of people in these communities who are not happy. We have a lot of folks who have grown up on farms, are farmers now, who are really upset at the attitudes of entitlement that you kind of pointed to in agriculture. There's a great essay called "I Will Not Thank a Farmer" by Kate Miller, who is a farmer. She's like a fourth-generation livestock farmer in Arkansas. And she said, guys, we have some massive entitlement problems in this industry. We're fairly wealthy people. If you look at the score, I know here in agriculture, we all pour mouth and we talk about how we're not doing great, but look at how most Americans are living. We are actually doing quite well financially. And we need to sit with that. And we need to sit with our attitude that for doing our job, because a lot of people do hard jobs. We have doctors working 24/7. We have nurses who get thrown at them at work and beat up by their patients at midnight, you know? In the grand scheme of things, yes, agriculture is hard, but it is not the only hard job. Let's not fool ourselves, right? So that is a voice coming from within the farm industry. And she got that published in a farm magazine. So you know there's other people who know what she's talking about, okay? There are a lot of people in agriculture who are seeing how many opportunities that kind of more traditional legacy farmers are missing because of this attitude of, well, we're real America, and we should tell you what you want to eat. We should not grow what you want to eat. We should not invest in our business development. We should just be able to tell you what you want to eat and how you should live to make life more convenient for us. There are a lot of folks in the farm sector who are seeing that and are very unhappy with it. Now, I don't think they run the Farm Bureau, but there are a lot of folks in agriculture who are not happy with it. They have really had nobody to go to be an alternative leader and an alternative voice. So I am not coming from nowhere. I am here to tell you there are a lot of folks in agriculture who also want something different. I hope that answered your question as well.
So Sharon,
Yes, ma'am.
You talk about having a farmer hiring people to do things and getting them all excited to do it. What about, I know that Cleveland has a lot of small farms out in the Cleveland area. What about getting them to band into like a co-op?
Yeah,
Where
so
they would grow the stuff, they could even build their own processing plant.
yeah, so farmer co-ops has to be something that the farmers themselves initiate. Many times someone has tried to come in from the outside and say, you should make a co-op, and that is just never successful. That has to come from the inside. That has to be something that people come up with themselves, because that means they want it bad enough to do it, because it's a pain in the butt. It's a lot of work. You're dealing with a lot of politics with your neighbors that you're trying, and then you're putting your livelihood on that and all those politics. It's a scary thing to do. So that has to come from the inside.
I know, but
What you can do as an outsider is say, hey, as a state, we're going to make some resources. We're going to say, hey, you know, we have a lot of farmers who are all growing kale or something like that. All of you have maybe 5 to 10 acres, so none of you alone have enough to sell to school districts or to institutional buyers. But what we can do is we can put in a handling and processing center. It's going to buy it. It's going to bundle all of your stuff together. And over time, if you guys find you like that, we can have you buy into it. And so you can build a cooperative that way by putting a pipeline into place and then letting people buy into it. You can't really tell people you're a cooperative now, so you have to do all the cooperative stuff, because that takes time to build those instincts, those habits, those traits, and those patterns. What you can do is give people a resource, and over time they will like get into it, but you cannot start a cooperative from scratch overnight.
There are more and more, but they call them hubs rather than co-ops.
Yeah.
And the school system the school system will buy stuff if you can produce it in big enough bulk,
Yeah.
which means a lot of our little farmers have to go together to produce that bulk, which is what you were saying. So that's starting to happen across the state.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I was just to say, like, I've seen people try those in a lot of ways that were not necessarily, they didn't really go anywhere, because the way they organized it was not something that farmers could onboard onto over time. It was kind of like, we're doing this now, and it takes people time to kind of build those habits in that pipeline. So that's just coming from my business development background in agriculture. So I didn't mean to be like, no, you can't do that. It's like, yes, that's a thing you can do, but you gotta do it in a certain way, kind of like give it maybe a different name, and get to know people first before throwing them all together. I hope that answered your.
okay, so as Commissioner of Agriculture, what are the things that you're allowed to do that would implement your ideas?
Great question. So one really important thing the Commissioner of Agriculture is in charge of is plant, animal, livestock health. So if we have a bird flu outbreak, do you know who's in charge of handling that? Commissioner of Agriculture. Do you think it might help to have somebody who is interested in public health at least as much as keeping Big Chicken happy? I think that might help. Yes. So that is a great example of something that was absolutely given to the Commissioner of Agriculture to handle. Another one, weirdly enough, gas pumps. If you go and buy a gallon of gas, you've got to make sure the pump is working right, so you actually get the gallon of gas, like the whole gallon. That is under the Commissioner of Agriculture's job to make sure those are calibrated, test them, and work appropriately.
Why?
I don't know.
I can answer that.